So Patrick, do we describe this for everybody, Rob?
What?
You describe it. You describe it. I do enough talking.
Whatever. What?
I think any car's dead in iRacing. I think it's gone.
Oh, it's definitely. I agree. It's not going to survive much, but I still think we'll find opportunities to race it, just not as fruitful as before. Some of them just want to make. What's the thing? Like that guy wanted to make like dolls out of Tyler's hair, but then there's just other guys who are just like. He did. He would say weird things to Tyler, man. Like he was a strange guy, and then like other guys would just show up and he's like, "Oh, we never met you? Sure, come race this 24 with us." And then you just jump in the car and wreck us out in a lap and be like, "Okay, never see you again."
Yeah, that was
okay. Well, better luck next year, I guess.
That was the guy from.
Welcome to round 6 of season 5 of the Cross Series League Racing Championship from the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course. My name is Alex Andersen. I am joined in the commentary booth by Daniel Hall with Jonathan Grabowski in our virtual production truck, and we are here at this fairly new layout of the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course with the Radical SR8s of the Cross Series League Racing Championship. And now, just looking off this track map, this isn't going to be a Roval layout that you've quite really recognized. This track still, I know it doesn't show it on the track map, but it still has the front stretch chicane, and it has the 2018 bus stop layout, so it's pretty much more of a kink on the back straightaway in this layout than it is more of a bus stop. But also, looking more towards the infield, you'll see about 3 back-to-back hairpins that these drivers are going to have to navigate in order to bring themselves onto the oval portion of this racetrack. And that, Daniel, is the main difference compared to the newer Roval layout that we see in more common use today. So, looks like Chet Duranic got some heavy damage on his car, but now you'll see Justin Barrera going through this part of the layout. And Daniel, it's a really interesting addition and pretty weird in these cars.
Yeah, a little bit different from what these drivers may have expected when they signed up for this league. I know they expected some weird combos, but this is possibly the strangest combo at Charlotte Motor Speedway here, with the older bus style where you just kind of have to throw it in and hope it sticks, and this little added-on portion of the infield road course.
Yeah, and that little infield portion of the road course, there's the 2018 bus stop that you're seeing right there. That was used when this Roval layout was first used in big style series like the NASCAR Cup Series in 2018. Oh, Adam Thompson with a little bit of a spin there, entering one of those infield corners. And actually, quick thing to mention about Adam is if you look at the bottom left where it usually says his name, you can see his little camera there, so we can see exactly what he's doing. Oh, obviously he's not very big, but you can still see what he's doing with the wheel, how he's feeling right now. Looks like he's pretty concentrated right now, just trying to set the best possible lap he can, trying to scrub off those tires and get them ready for his first qualifying lap. Here's Jerry DiPiero, who I believe is on one of his qualifying laps, heading down the infield back straight away. Now I'll head up this slight full throttle right-hand bend up into an uphill right-hand corner that leads directly into a downhill, and probably into the most tricky part of this road course, where you're downhill braking into this first hairpin. It's a very tricky corner to get right, and up and then keeping it in second gear and just having to stay on the bottom for the second hairpin, trying to get to there as fast as possible, then the hairpin bringing you back out onto the oval. This is Tim Cox taking that corner right now. He'll scrub off his tires as well and try and prepare for his first flying lap, as this track, it's such a weird layout. It's so difficult to get it right here. We'll go on board with Jake Luther and show you how difficult this version of the bus stop is. You bring it down one gear, and if you clip those sausage curves, Jake did a very good job avoiding them, but if you clip those blue sausage curves to the left, they can pretty much send you flying and end your night.
Yeah, that that bus stop is very quick compared to the changes they made the following season for the NASCAR series. Very fast. Not as much of a corner, but almost more technical because of it. And that'll be a real challenge tonight as these drivers navigate that.
It's more of a kink than anything, that layout of the bus stop is. We're looking at Justin Barrera on his second lap. It looks like he's not going to go for anything on his second lap. So Justin Barrera going to be stuck with a 1:23.6. Here's Kevin Irwin on his second lap after a 1:29.1. Jake Luther currently with the fastest lap of a 1:23.2. And really, there isn't many drivers left that can take him down that we know of. Adam might be able to set a solid lap here as he heads through the front stretch chicane to head towards the start-finish line now. Gets a nice transition through that corner and across the line. He will set what looks like, no, it looks like it's not showing up, so he probably got an incident point on that lap, which, yeah. So thank you, Jonathan. It looks like he got an off track on that lap, which prevented his lap from counting. Josh Klug up in third with a 1:23.8 on his second lap now.
Yeah, and if anyone's going to kind of unseat Jake Luther up there at the top of the board, it might be Josh Klug. He's very quick on these road courses, and we'll see what he's got in this challenging layout. As he heads into the uphill right-hander double into the last little bit of the infield section.
And there's Jake Luther. Just set another fast lap. It looks like, if I'm looking at iRacing correctly, it looks like he might have gotten an incident on his second lap, so it didn't count. Tim Cox, no, that's going to be the end of his qualifying run. Just set a 1:26.5, but he won't be able to see what his second lap is going to be as he wrecks it into the first corner. And while that happened, Jerry DiPiero set a 1:24.4. Klog is on a very good lap now, got his personal best in Sector 1. He went fastest Sector 2, but he is not going to get to complete it as qualifying has ran out of time for him. So if we can pull it up real quick here, is your starting grid for tonight. Jake Luther is on pole with a 1:23.2. Justin Barrera there in second, only 4/10 off. Josh Klug definitely could have set a faster lap, but so far has to settle for third, 6/10 back. Tim Cox is in sixth. Jake Hammond, I skipped two drivers. Jerry DiPiero is in fourth, Jake Hammond fifth, Tim Cox is in sixth, Kevin Irwin in seventh. Adam Thompson did not get a settled lap. He'll be in eighth. Jimmy Howitt, same thing in P9. Chet Duranik as well in P10. And it looks like we will have a standing start for you tonight. So this is going to be a major part of this race to see who can get the standing start correctly. And whoever can get it correctly is going to have that best launch down towards turn number one.
Yeah, who's practiced their clutch disengagement, who's practiced their launch control, we'll see as we head into turn one, these tight confines, and standing starts make anything more interesting.
Yeah, and turn one at this track, even on rolling restarts as well, the Tom's Heartburn turn up there, you can see it from the onboard of Justin Barrera. It's known to be one of the most treacherous corners in all of road racing, I suppose. Just because you're going in there so fast and with so many other cars around you. I know these cars aren't big and bulky like some of the cars that normally race here in real life, but still it can be a very treacherous corner to navigate, especially with a bunch of other angry radicals right on your tail. So we'll see how Jake Luther is able to manage that from the front row.
Yeah, and cold tires will also be a factor into that first corner and for the first lap and a half or so.
Yeah, and those tires are going to have to heat up if these drivers want to just make it to the end of this race. So you can see Tim as well. He has his camera up there, but the lights are up at the top of your screen. We're going to light all five of them up and get going here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course. The green flag is out, and we are racing from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Josh Klug practiced his start. He got a great one down there in turn number one. Tim Cox already up to second. Jake Luther got spun, and that is going to be a three-car wreck in the first corner. Jake Luther's around. Jerry DiPiero in it as well. There's another car right behind him. I'm not sure who that was in the little coated car there. That was Jake Ham. And then down the infield back straight away, Josh Klug from third to first now as he heads through the infield. Justin Barrera easily takes over second, and Tim Cox into third. But Daniel, why don't you try and take us through this incident? It looked pretty complicated.
Yeah, the Jake Luther just having issues. As Tim Cox kind of bounces in there, and they just came together. Cars spinning their wheels, some getting really good starts in the back, some having normal starts, and And unfortunately for Jake Luther, he was not able to capitalize on that pole position as we go back to watching Josh Clog and Justin Barrera now.
Yeah, it looked like what happened to Jake on that start is he got a bunch of wheel spin. He eventually got it to grip back up, and at that point, Josh was already past him. And then Jerry DiPiero tried to send it 4 wide to Jake's outside to try and take away second. And at that point, Jake had gotten more wheel spin and ended up spinning up into Jerry. And then Tim Cox tried to send it through to make up a bunch of time as well. Tagged Jake, which sent Jake around. Or tag Jake Ham, which sent Jake Ham around into Jake Luther now. And Jake currently having to settle for 6th right now with a pretty beat-up car. And that is not going to be helping his chances at all tonight. He's now 12 seconds back from Josh Clog, and I don't think Josh Clog is going to be giving up that lead so easily.
Yeah, Josh Clog's very quick. That's not what these other drivers wanted to see, with him getting out to a great start and taking the lead early. But Justin Barrera is keeping up with him. But we also saw Jake Luther. He had major damage. As we see another car, Kevin Irwin, going off track there. This grass is very problematic if you get out on there as we take a look at it.
It looked like he just didn't get as far to the inside of his as. Let me rephrase that. It looks like he just didn't get as far to the inside as he would have wanted there. And pretty much just like any car in iRacing, as soon as you clip that grass, it's almost like it just sucks you off the racing surface. So Tim Cox, a little bit unsettled, coming back out onto the oval. Adam Thompson capitalizes and takes away 3rd from the number 340 machine. Adam can see the 2 cars in front of him fighting for the lead there, as he looks like he's braking a lot more than he should for that bus stop there. Downshifts into 4th, and it looks like everybody else downshifting into 5th, but he's up 5 spots from his starting position. So already a great start to this race for the 244 team, as Justin Barrera with the fastest lap of a 243, a 1:23.543, which is about 4/10 faster than what Josh Clog's second lap was. So Justin Barrera definitely still in this fight, and he will give a fight to Josh Clog for this lead if he can close this gap, which so far it looks like he's definitely going to, as he's almost tags the rear end, and now they're side by side to the infield.
Yeah, he made an outside move there, and now he's got the inside lane coming through this hairpin. He's still fighting side by side. Let's see if he can hold it through the outside here. No, he looks like he cuts back in under and right behind Josh Clog. He's like, get ready to come back out onto the oval. We'll see if he has any draft help, and maybe use that as a way to get by him.
And you can really see how that hairpin coming back onto the oval, how weird that corner is just off the differing lines. It looked like what Justin Barrera did. He took the normal outside, inside, outside tactic and just tried to get through the corner as quick as he could. Meanwhile, Josh Clog went for a different approach, tried to take a wider apex, so that way he can get a faster exit off the corner. So multiple different ways to attack the hairpins of this layout of the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, and looks like that hairpin is where their lines differ the most. But Justin Barrera still going to close down at this gap. He gained about 0.3 of a second that lap, so Justin Barrera definitely with the speed to lead this race, but he just needs to find a way around Josh Clog.
Yeah, and he looks really good on the brakes getting into the corners. He's making up a lot of time on Josh there. We'll see if he may be able to outbrake him when he gets a chance. But go back to the infield where he made an outside move here. Let's see if he can pull that same thing again. Not quite close enough to get that done this lap. Looks inside.
Oh,
yep, he gets there. He's side by side, and he's closer now through this corner.
They're still side by side entering into the hairpin to bring them back onto the oval. Josh Clog going to try and get the better exit, but Justin Barrera takes the lead for the first time tonight through that series of hairpins. Looks like he got to the inside of Josh Clog through that first one, and then was just able to hold his position until that last corner. But now Josh is going to have to try and wait till after the bus stop to use the slipstream he has to make a move. You can see the lip before the corner, and he got a great exit. he will immediately send it back to the inside to try and take the lead right back, and he will. However, Justin Barrera immediately gets a draft run now, coming into the front stretch of Kane. It looks like he's not going to do anything with it this time by. Josh Clark will still lead lap number 4, heading into lap number 5 and a turn number 1. Just a game of cat and mouse right now as Justin Barrera still trying to hunt down Josh Clark and take the lead.
Oh, and we get Jimmy Howitt. Looks like he got off in the grass. It's gonna mess up his run a little bit. See if he can get back going as he comes back on the oval portion.
And it looks like there could be a little bit of a battle in the midfield now as Jake Luther trying to claw his way back up through the field. The pole sitter had a fall from grace early on. Now he's trying to gain it back, chasing Tim Cox to the infield. Now we'll see if Jake Luther can take this spot away. Here you can see Tim down there in the bottom left. You can see what he's doing. Looking to the left, entering that first hairpin, just trying to hold off this number 19 car. And Tim has been setting some pretty consistent laps, so he knows quite a bit about what he's doing, but I don't think that damage you can see right there on the left side is helping him at all. And he also locked up a little bit there through that hairpin. Jake Luther tried to get the inside to capitalize, but it's such a slow corner that he spun the wheels exiting, and he was still have to settle for riding in line behind Tim Cox.
Yeah, getting out onto the oval portion. It's a high bank there, but coming out of that slow corner, you don't have any speed to kind of help you seat the car into the banking. So you can have tons of wheel spin, and you saw it there where Jake just got on the throttle and had no grip and cost him in this battle.
And Justin Barrera must not have had the best of laps as he was about a second behind Josh Clogg, as Josh Clogg set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:23.2, and Justin Barrera had a 1:24.3 there, so losing over a second to Josh Clogg is not really what Justin Barrera wants here at all, but already he's starting to close this gap down a bit more. He's trying to get on under a second. There he goes to get it under a second in the second hairpin. Josh Clogg with a good exit, though, is going to start to negate that gap closing as now they head back out onto the oval, and Justin Barrera looks like he's just so much better than Josh Clogg is in that third and final hairpin, and he's able to get the gap back under a second, and he's already using the draft to reel back in this number 199 machine.
Yeah, getting that draft to close, but we saw Josh Clogg get through the bus stop really well. We'll see if he pulls any gap a little bit there, but not too much. Justin Barrera is going to still have the benefit of the draft as we head into the front stretch chicane. That's one thing to look for maybe later in this race, coming down toward the end. What kind of moves can you make out of that bus stop? What kind of runs can you get heading into this front stretch? It's almost similar to Daytona in that way.
Yeah, definitely. Is Adam Thompson going to break into the front stretch of Kane? Still just maintaining second place, just riding pretty back here on the 244 machine. Hasn't really gotten a shot to race with the leaders at all, but he's just running his own race right now on lap 7 of the 33 counted laps tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course. As Justin Barrera continuing to close this gap down once again, as Josh Clogg with a 1:23.6 last time by. Justin Barrera must have run a lap quite faster than that on his last lap, as he's already got the gap down into the 0.6 range. Now, as they head back out onto the oval under 0.5 of a second now, Justin Barrera will have the main benefit of the draft as they head towards the back stretch chicane. And you think Justin Barrera might be able to make a move into the front stretch chicane with how close he is right now?
If he can get the run here, he definitely could, but Josh Clogg's just so quick. Look at the gap he pulls. He's got something figured out in that chicane, and that's going to make it hard for anybody to make a move on him. But Justin Barrera ran a 1:22.8, setting the fastest lap of the race last time. Let's see what these guys run this time around. They just keep getting faster as they get more confidence in the cars, get more heat in the tires, and more confidence in the track.
Yeah, and it was Josh Clogg with a 1:23.0 at Justin Barrera with a little bit better by a 10th there with a 1:22.9. So Justin Barrera is still showing more pace than Josh Clogg is at the moment. And Josh Clogg being faster through the bus stop, I think, is actually Jake Luther has gotten around Tim Cox. I want to kind of point that to, or here's the replay of the move, and it looks like Tim just got a little unsettled out of the front stretch chicane and allowed Jake Luther to cruise by on the outside down the front straightaway. And one thing that I do want to mention about this backstretch chicane that we call the bus stop now is actually, hold that thought, Justin Barrera heads to the inside now through oval 1 and 2, and it looks like he will easily clear Josh Clog for the spot. Will Josh Clog try and make this move back before the bus stop? Yes, he will. They'll go side by side down towards the bus stop. I don't think this is a really good idea, and it looks like Josh is going to let Justin Barrera have this position. Great move, but Josh Clog already with the run out of that corner. He's going to try it to the outside now through oval 3 and 4. Let's see if he can make this move in the front stretch again.
Yeah, he's going to make a move here. Looks to the inside, thinks better of it, and tucks in right behind him. But yeah, I thought they were going to go too wide through the bus stop there, and that was not going to end well for these drivers. So probably better thought the first third of this race. Maybe take it easy. Don't bust that out quite yet.
And you can see Justin Barrera still setting heater laps trying to extend this gap, as last time he set a 1:23.5 if I'm not mistaken. Might have been a little bit faster than that, but Justin Barrera still showing the strongest pace of anyone in the field right now, and really is giving Josh Clog a run for his money. But Josh is still going to have the draft advantage down these straightaways, so Justin Barrera I don't think will be losing the company of this number 199 car anytime soon, but he can definitely do a good job to ensure that Josh Clog doesn't get a shot at getting the first position back from Justin Barrera. But we're going to see Josh Clog's bus stop line really well here. And one thing that I want to attribute his speed in the bus stop to is the line on entry he takes. He always enters the bus stop a little bit lower than Justin Barrera does as he pulls to the outside now, using that run out of the bus stop. He always enters a little bit lower, and I think that allows him to get a straighter line through the bus stop so he doesn't scrub off as much speed from turning. But they'll go side by side on the front straightaway now as Josh Clog retakes the lead, but Justin Barrera is going to get it back in turn 1 now. Justin Barrera still your leader after Josh Clog momentarily took it back to the front stretch chicane. This is a great battle.
Yeah, it's great side-by-side race, and these drivers swapping it back and forth. We'll see what Josh Clog has. He timed that run up pretty well coming through the backstretch bus stop, and I think that might be the move he's found on Justin Barrera. He's quicker through there, but might come with some problems. It looks like he had some front damage on there, as we see. We go back to our battle with Tim Cox and Jake Luther. Jake Luther just getting off the track a little bit. Both these cars have a good bit of damage. They won't have instant repairs, damage healing like we saw in the ovals, but they do have 2 fast repairs in the pits. So these drivers kind of waiting it out, waiting to get into their pit window, and when they come in and get fuel and maybe tires, they'll get a repair and hopefully have these cars back to full strength.
As Josh Clog starting to close this gap down to the lead once again. I think, this is coming out of the bus stop once again. This is where Josh Clog gets the biggest runs he can. Now heading to the front stretch chicane, he's just got to keep this up now, and he could possibly think about a move into turn 1, but he just isn't close enough on this occasion. Justin Barrera with a 1:23.1, Josh Clog with a 1:23.5. The only thing keeping these two together right now, I think, is the draft on the oval right now. Justin Barrera with so much pace to this infield section that the draft doesn't even really matter. Josh Clog still can't really make a move for this lead, as Justin Barrera, with his speed overall and through the infield especially, he's just starting to ever so slightly pull away from Josh Clog, and it could lead to a bit of a breakaway now, as this gap almost getting to over a second through the infield hairpins.
Yep. Oh, it's Josh Clog. Looks like he made up some time, but it looks like he just overcooked that corner. Wonder if Josh maybe overworked his tires a little bit, trying to stay in touch with Barrera. That's why he's suffering through the infield, but he's going to get the benefit of the draft here on the oval portion, and the bus stop. We'll see his massive runs he's getting through here. He enters just a little bit lower, makes it more of a straight line, so he doesn't have to turn the wheel quite as much, and that really helps him. Picks up 4 or 5 tenths a second through there. He'll get close, but I don't think he was going to be close enough to make a move into this front stretch chicane.
Yeah, now I can see the damage on the left front of Josh Clog that you were talking about, Dave. It looks like he's just got a little bit there on the front end. It looks like it's dirty as well. Josh Klog actually just set the fastest lap of the race with a 1:22.828. So Josh Klog definitely not out of this fight yet, but still has quite a bit of time to make up to Justin Barrera, especially with how much he's losing through this infield portion of this racetrack. So it looks like Josh Klog just has Barrera on the outer parts of this circuit, but on the infield, Justin Barrera has it locked down. But it looks like Josh Klog's starting to show a little bit more pace in the infield. He definitely kept up with Justin Barrera through the infield. Just looking at Jay Cam, it looks like he came into the pits for some repairs. He's a lap down now. He probably got some repairs after the lap 1 incident. Oh, almost clips those blue sausage curbs on the left, and if you hit those pretty much at full throttle, it can send your car absolutely flying. So it gets really tense whenever a driver gets close to him. And you'll see Josh Klog's line through this bus stop again just makes it such a straighter line through there. Meanwhile, Justin Barrera is flicking the car off the wall into the corner and out of the corner. So that's where Josh Klog is able to make up the most time, and he'll try and take advantage of it here to the inside of the front stretch chicane. Josh Klog will retake the lead on lap 13 of this race. Except lap 2.
Yeah, and that set Justin Barrera a little farther back. He's over a second behind just from that move alone. So he's going to have to make up time in the infield like we know he can. But it looks like he might even have some front end damage too. Yeah, similar to Josh Klog's there, where it's kind of ticked up on the left front. And that's the risk versus reward you're going to run into with these sausage curbs and these light, low slung cars that are really stiff. Hitting those curbs repeatedly is going to cause some damage to your car and might hurt your downforce and the handling of the car as this race goes along.
Yeah, and just downforce is so important when you're talking about these radicals, especially with how light they are. So the higher the downforce, the better off you're going to be. I mean, that pretty much goes without saying for any car, but especially for these radicals with how aero-dependent and how light they are. And really, it just shows how skillful you have to be to drive these cars at such a high pace to go fast on a lot of these racetracks. So props to the drivers of this series for being able to stick it out with these cars. They're doing a great job so far this race, other than the lap 1 incident. And still Jake Luther proving to be one of the fastest cars out on the racetrack. Even with his damages, he's catching up to the 244 car that Adam Thompson could possibly consider moving in turn number 1.
Yeah, he's really made up a bunch of ground on Adam Thompson these last few laps. So we'll see where he decides to make his move. As he seems to be a lot quicker. Adam's kind of fallen off the pace of the leaders. Jake's been pacing a little bit better.
Yeah, and so far, Justin Barrera has closed it down the gap to Josh Klog already. He's got it under 0.3 of a second now, and it looks like the gap between Jake Luther and Adam Thompson, 0.6 of a second, if my math serves me right, and I can assure you it probably does not. However, it looks like, yeah, there's the gap as they head back out onto the oval. Justin Barrera with the run out of that hairpin allowed the benefit of the slipstream as well, and that could also keep him in a good enough range to this bus stop, and he could get a good look at what Josh Klog does to the bus stop. It looks like he's just going to continue to do what he has been doing and allow Josh Klog to pull away, and you can see how much Josh Klog's radical bounces around through that corner with the line he's taking. I think that might also be contributing to the damage he has made, because that front end is starting to look a little bit worse on the front end of that car. Justin Barrera's also looks like it's taking a little bit of a beating, but not as much as that number 199 car.
Yeah, we'll look back at Adam Thompson and Jake Luther to see if Jake's close enough. Doesn't look like he'll be close enough to make a move into this chicane on the front stretch. But he makes up some time. Let's see if he can get into turn 1. Doesn't look like he'll be able to make his move. So he's just biding his time. He knows that he's kind of got Adam covered, and he'll probably be able to kind of make that move whenever he gets a good opportunity, knowing that it's going to be really tough to run down Josh Klog and Justin Barrera at this point without some help or some major incidents on their part.
I don't think those incidents are going to happen with how fast they are, and it looks like Adam, he is running laps on pace with the leaders. He just needs to start running those laps more consistently, especially when he has a driver like Jake Luther right on his tail. But Justin Barrera, I want to say he's right on the back bumper of Josh Klog. Tried to get to the outside iron bus stop, couldn't do it, and it looks like Justin Barrera might have matched Josh Klog's bus stop just a little bit. Now as they head towards the front stretch chicane, he could think about a move, but you can hear the lift entering that corner. It looks like Justin Barrera not going to make a move there. He's just going to continue to bide his time behind Josh Klog, wait for the pit window, which actually should be coming up quite soon, as we're just a couple laps off the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, fuel tank's limited, so it forces a pit stop. Similar to how we've had kind of all season, just adds a element of strategy and some more thought that needs to go into planning these races. But we've seen it shake it up, the running order, a couple times this season already, so we'll see if anybody wants to make a super aggressive pit strategy, where they maybe pit early, take a little bit lighter fuel to undercut some of the drivers they're racing with, and get out on the track, spend less time in pit road, and use that to their benefit.
Yeah, and also they could consider taking tires, which I think if they take 2 tires, it shouldn't cost them much time, but it could. But with how much fuel they have to put in these cars, it might cost them time if they choose to take all 4. And you can see there's Justin Barrera starting to adopt Josh Klog's line there through the bus stop. You can see Justin Barrera using the lower entry that Josh Klog was using, which could make this number 199, or which could make this number 419 car a lightning bolt out on track. If he can get back to the lead, which he has the pace to do it there, as it looks like they're dead even on lap time. Justin Barrera with the new fastest lap of the race by just a couple of hundredths there with a 1:22.6. So both of these drivers running on incredible pace now, so I don't think tires are going to be a concern for either of them, especially with the laps they just ran. So we have to see what happens when they come into the pit lane and how close or how much further they'll be away from each other, because they are giving us a fantastic battle right now, and the pit stops could decide this entire race.
Yeah, hopefully they don't get too far separated with different pit strategy calls, because this has been exciting, great racing between these two for the lead.
And you can see Justin it looks like they're starting to match each other's lines pretty much perfectly, as Justin Barrera used to have a major advantage on Josh Klog on the last hairpin coming back out onto the oval, and now it looks like Josh has started to match that, and same thing with the bus stop. Josh used to have a massive advantage with the bus stop. He would gain so much time, but now Justin Barrera is starting to match that as well. But it looks like Justin lost a little bit of time that lap, as Josh Klog going to be the first driver to exit the pits of these 2, and we'll have to see if anybody else is going to pit this lap as well. And we also have to see what Justin Barrera can do to try and just make sure he can stay with Josh Klog when he comes into the pits and eventually comes out of the pits. So it looks like Jake Luther and Adam Thompson both into the pits this time by. I don't think these cars have a pit limiter. They might have okay, so I think they do have a pit limiter. It's a 40 mile an hour. Oh, thank you. Okay, they do have a pit limiter, so it's a 40 mile an hour pit lane speed limit. Very slow pace through the pit lane at this racetrack, as Tim Cox heads into the pits as well. I think this would be the lap for pretty much most, if not all, the drivers coming to the pits, as Josh Klog exiting now. Justin Barrera still out on track for one final lap. Josh Klog is now safely back out onto the racetrack and has rejoined the race from the pit lane about 40 seconds back. So we have to see how long Justin Barrera, you can see him in oval turn 2 there, just barely from the cockpit of from the roll bar camera of Josh Klog's Radical. But now you can see the track map up on the right side. We have to see if Justin Barrera comes into the pits this time, and if he has enough of a gap to maintain the lead when Josh Klog heads into the pit lane. There he goes into the pits.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how these drivers exit out and blend back together. Curious, it looked like I caught Josh Klog taking at least rear tires. I didn't know if he caught front tires, but you might be able to watch Justin Barrera's stop here, see what his tire strategy is. The fuel strategy is just fill it back up, get to the end of the race and carry on. But we'll take a look back at Josh Klog as he's coming through NASCAR 3 and 4 to the front stretch. I don't know how good Justin Barrera's outlap was, but we'll see. I don't think he's rolling yet. And
No, he's rolling. There he goes. So I think there's Josh Klog in the background, has the pace entering turn 2, and it looks like Justin Barrera clear out with the lead. Josh Klog still within reasonable distance of Justin Barrera, but Justin has the definite advantage so far, with the gap at the largest I think it's been between these two the entire race at about 1.7 seconds. And you can see there's the difference in pit stop time. It took just under 20 seconds for Justin Barrera to make his pit stop, but Josh Klog took him barely over 22 seconds. So Josh Klog with about a 2.5 second slower pit stop than Justin Barrera, and that probably also has to do with being able to put less fuel in the car after Justin Barrera pitted a lap later. But Josh Klog already starting to narrow this gap back down, probably because he has his tires warmed already. He's got the brakes warm, and Justin Barrera still trying to warm all that up on his outlap, but he's starting to adopt Josh's line through the bus stop, but still cannot match the pace that number 199 car makes to the bus stop. And now Josh Klog firmly back within striking distance of the number 419 machine.
yeah, got a little separated there as they were kind of nose to tail when they came into the pits, but I don't think that's going to hurt this battle at all, as Josh Klog seems to be reeling in Justin Barrera at this point. One thing to note about changing the line to the bus stop, it's one thing to kind of change that line in the hairpin coming out. You see what someone else is doing, you try it. It's a slow speed corner. It's not really risky. Changing the line from the bus stop from what you've been doing all practice session, that's a real big risk to take in a race. That's something that's very interesting to see him try. That high risk, high reward there, for sure.
I actually did not even think of that. Now that you mention it, Daniel, that is very, very true, and it might be why it has taken Justin Barrera so long to experiment with his bus stop line in the race. I mean, he's been used to his normal line all throughout practice and all throughout all the laps he's put in so far in the race, and now it's got to be very weird to try a new line through there compared to what you've been doing all race, especially when you're racing one of the fastest drivers one of, if not the fastest driver in this series, and you're fighting him for the lead of the race while simultaneously trying to adjust a line you've been used to all race long. So got to be very tricky. Got to be a very tricky conversion for Justin Barrera, and it looks like it's not working out for him so far. As Josh Klog already right back on his bumper. Josh Klog just set the new fastest lap of the race by about 0.2 compared to the old one with a 1:22.4. So Josh Klog with a lot of pace in his car compared to Justin Barrera, who needs to get back on top.
Yeah, Josh Klog is really confident in his car right now, it seems. Not a ton of cars out on the track to maybe throw some rubber down, but track developing all the same. It seems like this track's just going to keep getting faster, and now that they're back on full fuel, might not even be their peak times, as we'll see them speed back up as they get closer to the end of this race too.
And also this race is going further and further into the night, which probably explains why the track is getting so much grippier now, and it's probably also why they're setting faster laps. As the track grips up more as they head later into night, starts to cool down compared to what it has been. And that allows these drivers to go faster through the winding corners of this road course, gives them more grip. But Josh Klog with a monster run out of the bus stop. He's going to try something into the front stretch chicane, onto the brakes. It looks like Justin Barrera not giving it up so easily, but Josh Klog with the advantage on the inside. Power move through the front stretch chicane. He'll retake the lead on lap 22 of this race.
Yeah, he's made that move a couple times already this race, and we'll see on board with Justin Barrera as he can hopefully stay in striking distance of Josh Klog through the infield here. Josh just hits such a great run through that backstretch bus stop, and it manifests itself with a pass right there.
Yeah, and Justin Barrera is still super strong to the infield section, not letting Josh Claude get away at all, but I would say it is considerably harder for Justin Barrera to make a move to take the lead away from Josh Claude, because really the only passing opportunity I can think of on this track, honestly, would probably be turn number 1. Oh, very loose out of that corner. That's not going to help him at all. But probably the only corners I can think of for a passing opportunity is that hairpin coming back onto the oval that these drivers just went through. Turn number 1 and the front stretch chicane. So Justin Barrera, he can't get the best run out of the bus stop. He can't make a move at the front stretch chicane or turn 1, and that makes his really only option that corner coming back onto the oval, and that only works if you are right on the back bumper of the car in front of you, which currently, after Justin Barrera heading through the third hairpin last lap, he currently is not in striking distance to make a move on that hairpin. So really, I would say Justin Barrera doesn't have a lot of easy moves available right now.
Yeah, he's going to have to maybe hope for a mistake from Josh Clog and capitalize on that. But other than that, yeah, it's going to be tough for him to make a move, like you said. Passing zone's pretty limited. A lot of high-speed corners and not a lot of hard braking zones besides the chicane and turn.
Yeah, so you can just see how close Justin Barrera gets through this infield section, but he just can't do much with it until, I mean, you can't really do much with it at all, because you can't go side by side through this version of the bus stop. On the newer version of the bus stop on the Charlotte Roval, you could probably make a side-by-side move going into there without death, but on this layout, it's pretty much a single file only corner, so Justin Barrera just has to try and hang on as best as he can, try and figure out the bus stop more and more as this race gets closer and closer to the end. And it looks like Tim Cox back in the pit lane, so probably maybe got a little bit of damage there, or maybe didn't put enough fuel in the car, but he's back in the pits now. So not sure what happened to him there, but Justin Barrera now, you just can't get this gap closed down, especially with that bus stop on the back straightaway, but he gets a pretty nice run through the front stretch of Kane. Loses a little bit out as they head towards turn number 1. Josh Clog has firmly planted himself in the lead of this race, and currently Justin Barrera has not found a way to get back in front.
Yeah, he's staying within draft range, staying within kind of
You got it.
something distance. Yeah, drawing a blank.
Your mind, you're just drawing a blank right now.
Yeah, it's left. But striking distance, there we go. He's still within striking distance, but it is going to be tough for him to make a move. Josh just looks so strong on the oval portion of this track.
Yeah, definitely. And really, that's pretty much what is separating these two cars right now, is Josh Clog's strong oval section. It's so much better than Justin Barrera's, but the thing is, Justin Barrera still has a much better run than Josh Clog does in the infield, but just really with the limited passing opportunities on this track, Justin can't really do much with the runs that he makes. So we'll see him come to the bus stop again, and you'll see Josh Clog. Actually, no, Justin Barrera did a pretty good job that time. He didn't let the gap close too much through the bus stop that time, but still nowhere near within striking distance to take the lead in this front stretch chicane. He draws closer entering. I mean, he might get a little bit of a run entering turn 1, actually. I don't think, he's not going to be able to do much with it, but Justin did just set the new fastest lap of the race with a 1:22.2. So as it gets later into the night, these two drivers setting faster and faster laps, and their pace continuing to pick up more and more. Tim Cox respectfully gets out of the way of the leaders, and actually might have just killed his car there, getting out of the way as he's parked off the racing surface there. And now Justin right on the back bumper. He could make a move in this hairpin. It's where he's tried to pretty much this whole race when he's been chasing Josh Clog. Can't do it there. And now through the second hairpin, Justin with a strong run through the center of it, and he's got a decent run heading back out onto the oval. He needs a good run out of this corner if he wants to capitalize on how close he's got to the gap. And he will not be able to capitalize on it. He loses about 2/10 through that hairpin. He's still going to have to settle for second on lap 25 of this race, inside 10 laps to go.
Yeah, if he can get through the bus stop as well as he did last lap, he might have a chance, but Josh Clog is just hitting that consistently every time. He didn't lose too much time there, but still not as precise as Josh Clog. He's just hitting that same line every lap, and Justin Barrera might be hoping that lap traffic he sees up ahead doesn't quite play as nice as Tim Cox did, but I doubt that. Driver's been pretty respectful all season when it comes to letting the battles for the lead go by.
As Justin Barrera, you'll see his strong infield section once again here on lap 26 of this race. I believe 8 laps to go, so you'll see the strong, actually no, it's probably more, I think it is 8 laps to go, if I am not mistaken. You'll see Justin Barrera start to close this gap through the windy infield section. As Josh Clog just has to, you just have to hang on through this infield section, and if he can just hang on, get a decent gap to the infield, there's nothing Justin Barrera can really do on the oval portion of this racetrack, and hanging on is exactly what Josh Clog did. Actually might have done a bit more than that, as Justin Barrera knocked about a 10th out of the gap in Sector 1, but Josh Clog increased that gap by 2/10 in Sector 2, so just nothing Justin Barrera is able to do right now. He's reasonably within striking distance if he wants to make a dive bomb move somewhere, but he just isn't close enough to make a consistent and safe move for both drivers.
Yeah, it might take a kind of a late dive and a Hail Mary type of move to get by Josh Clog here. And I don't know if he wants to pull that card out quite yet. He might just be searching, prodding, seeing where he might be able to make that move if it comes to that. So, yeah, if I'm Justin Barrera, I'm sitting back. I'm trying to maximize my corner exits, figure out where I can maybe tweak my line a little bit more and get some more speed on Josh Clog. But it's going to be tough. Josh has been fast all night.
Yeah, and really, there's just, I know we keep talking about it, but there's just nowhere for Justin Barrera to be able to make this move. He has to just change up what he's doing in the bus stop and try and close the gap down there if he wants to have a shot in the front stretch chicane, but he's just not been able to do that throughout the second half of this race, and part of that might have been because Josh Clog took tires and Justin Barrera may not have, because you saw how much faster Justin Barrera's pit stop was. It was about 2.5 seconds faster than Josh Clog's pit stop, but the thing about that is Justin Barrera might not have taken tires. He could have gone for a fuel-only stop. Meanwhile, we know Justin Barrera at least took Josh Clog at least took rear tires, which could greatly be improving the handling on that number 199 car, and could be the reason why Justin Barrera isn't able to close this gap. But they're coming up on lap traffic now, which could really affect how this race plays out. It looks like it's Jake Ham and Jerry DiPiero up there. Yes, it is. And you'll see the closing distance Josh Clog has on them now as they head through the infield. The easiest spot for these two to let Josh Clog by could be this infield back straightaway. However, looks like Jerry DiPiero is going to pull over. Jake Ham going to continue to surge on. Probably just to get away from Jerry DiPiero at this point so he doesn't have to fight him all that much. But now there's really nowhere for Jake Ham to get out of the way of this battle, and it could lead Justin Barrera to be able to possibly make a move if it slows down the number 199 car.
Yeah, we'll see. Jake Ham's right in front of our leaders. He is going to be looking for a way to let these guys go by. Might be able to do it right here. Just kind of pull up out of the corner. No, staying in front. So we'll see. I think Josh Clog's really hoping that Jake Ham. Nope, he's still pulling off. He's still pulling straight in front of him. So that might hurt Josh Clog's bus stop. Didn't look like he could get quite the run he's normally getting, but Justin Barrera couldn't either. So we'll see if Jake Ham lets these guys by easy or not.
I think the reason why Jake Ham isn't really letting these two by easy is because he's frustrated from that lap one move. He typed in the in-game chat, he just said ridiculous after that first one move, so he's probably a little bit displeased with the product of racing from that start, so that's probably why he wasn't letting these two go so easy, but it allowed Justin Barrera to get right up to the back bumper of Josh Clog, and now he just needs to maintain it. No, he lost it to that first part of the infield there, which is allowing Josh Clog a little bit more breathing room with 5 laps to go.
Yeah, time winding down for Justin Barrera to make a move, and Josh Clog's still solidly in front. And looks like he's definitely not going to be easy to pass coming down to the last little bit of this race.
I don't know if he can be passed at all at this point. Justin Barrera's pretty much thrown everything he can at Josh Clog in the latter half of this race and just has not been able to make any sort of move to get around Josh Clog as Barrera. He's been trying his best, we know that. Honestly, if he can get a solid run through the bus stop, he might be able to do something in the front stretch of Kane. Justin just has to nail this bus stop, and looks like he got it better than he's done previously, but still, Josh Clog got such a good run that attempt at a move that could have happened down the front stretch of Kane is just not going to be possible. He sends it in, almost makes contact with Josh Clog, but still just nothing able to be done for Justin Barrera at the moment. You can see that looks like we're looking at there's the gaps between these two. Justin Barrera has been running solidly faster laps so far than Josh Clog has the past couple of laps on 4 to go, but he just has not been able to get around Josh Clog.
Yeah, the gap keeps coming down, but again, it's all about being able to make a move, and you can reel the leader in and get right on his bumper, but to make a move takes a lot of effort and timing your run, and I don't know, it's been tough. It looks like he might have lost a little bit of ground through the infield section that time. He's six tenths back now.
I thought I saw him get really wide in that first hairpin, going on the triple hairpin section of the infield. Thought I saw him go really wide in that first hairpin, and that's probably what cost him so much time there. And it looks like he got a pretty solid run through the bus stop, so Josh Clog didn't close probably as much time as he would have liked there. So as they come to take 3 laps to go, Josh Clog with about a half a second lead over Justin Barrera, but Barrera still with a pretty good sector 3 there, able to just keep him right with Josh Clog as they head back to the infield.
Yeah, we saw Barrera get through the bus stop, and he's going to need another one of those type of runs where Josh Clog just kind of misses it just a little bit and opens the door. But yeah, Josh Clog had enough of a gap there to not allow Justin to capitalize. So we'll see if Justin can work his way through this infield section, maybe get even closer heading into that bus stop and capitalize on a great run out of it. We'll see.
And it looks like Justin got a decent run through both hairpins this time into the third one. We'll see what he can do as they head back out onto the oval, gets it up right to Josh Clog's bumper, and he got a better run than Josh Clog did out of that hairpin, but not by much. And I'm going with the gap will be about 2.5 tenths between these two as they head into the bus stop. So Justin just needs to get a nice run through here if he wants to maintain pace with Josh Clog, which just still loses about half a tenth there. And that is going to be the difference between possibly making a move into the front stretch chicane and having to sit here still in second, about just 0.2 of a second as they head into the front stretch chicane. They'll take 2 laps to go, this time by Justin Barrera with a great run out of the front stretch chicane. They'll try it into turn number 1. They'll go side by side. Oh, they make contact and they're both around. They're both around. I don't think Adam Thompson is close enough to make a move. Justin Barrera going to continue on first. Josh Clog still stuck, can't get it refired and pull back forward. Justin Barrera will now take the lead by 5 seconds. I did not see that coming.
Yeah, it looks like they got in there and just made contact. As we take a look at the replay, you see Josh Clog not get quite the good run. Barrera looks to the inside. Josh Clog tries to close the door. They get in there and Barrera missed the apex by car width and a half almost, and just makes contact with Clog's left rear and sends them both around. It looks like Barrera was able to recover a lot faster, but he's got some rear wing damage. It looks like he made contact with the wall as he was spinning around, so not going to be too much with a lap and a half to go, but that kind of puts a damper on this great battle we've had all race.
I don't really want to put too much of that on Justin Barrera. I mean, Josh Clog threw a pretty late block there, and it forced Justin to take a really slow line through turn number 1, and it kind of forced Justin to take a wide apex. I mean, obviously, Justin could have slowed down more, and took a better line through there to avoid hitting Josh Clog, but still there really wasn't much he could do as he takes the white flag. Here's a look from the onboard of Justin Barrera as he'll head onto the brakes again. And yeah, he definitely could have turned in earlier to make that corner, but really, I mean, I think with Josh Clog making that block, I think that was pretty much doomed from the start. But on the final lap of this race, it's been a war of attrition between Josh Clog and Justin Barrera. It's been a tight battle all night long, and with contact on 2 laps to go, it looks like this is going to go the way of Justin Barrera. Just needs to negotiate a couple more corners, and after 33 long laps, this race will be his.
Yeah, this he's got quite a big gap. All he's got to do is keep it nice and clean and keep it pointed in the right direction, and he should be able to bring this one home. But you look at Josh Clog, he's trying to reel him in. He's made up quite a bit on the gap, but
About a second and a half, I think.
yeah, it's not going to be enough, it looks like, as Barrera's making his last trip to the bus stop.
Yeah, this has been Josh Clog's best corner all night, but it's not going to matter much now as Josh Clog still closing the gap down a lot, but Justin Barrera just needs to take it easy through the final corner, and this race will be his. Into the final corner, Justin Barrera will take the victory from the Charlotte Motor Speedway road course. Josh Clog has to settle for second, and now it's a pretty far gap to anyone else as Adam Thompson heading through Oval 1 and 2 still, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he is on the back straightaway. What a race that we were given from Josh Clog and Justin Barrera, and I reckon Josh Clog not going to be too happy after that race.
Yeah, he's got to be disappointed with that finish, but it was a good race for about 90% of it. You can see Adam Thompson come through the front stretch chicane for the last time. He's going to round out the podium on third, taking it very nice and gentle through there. No real competition from behind, so just taking it easy, making sure he gets through there. No extra issues.
Yeah, no, there's Justin Barrera. Looks like he did a couple of burnouts in the in turn number 1. We're just waiting for the rest of the drivers to come across the start-finish line. Last drivers to do it, I believe, will be Jake Luther and Kevin Irwin. So Justin Barrera just kind of hanging out in turn number 1 there. I like his little SDK profile picture. I'm assuming that's his cat, just up on the steering wheel of, I'm assuming, his car. It's a little cute picture down there. I'm a cat fan myself, so, I like that picture, but, it looks like he backs it into the wall a little bit. Now he's just facing turn 1, just hanging out there as every car is across the line now. So I believe we can take you through the race results for tonight. Justin Barrera, if we can pull those up real quick. There they are, Justin Barrera for the number 419 team. It was a hard-fought race all night. Unfortunately, contact with 2 to go. Really was neither driver's fault. It's kind of just a racing deal for pretty much most of it. But Justin Barrera going to end up with the win. Josh Clog has to settle for second. I honestly think if there was one more lap, Josh Clog would have had him there with how much he was closing that gap down. Adam Thompson going to get himself onto the podium in third. Jake Luther with a nice recovery race ends up P4. Jerry DiPiero in 5th. Kevin Irwin in 6th. Jake Ham in 7th. Tim Cox in 8th. Jimmy Howard in 9th. And Chet Duranick rounds out the field in 10th place. And Daniel, I believe you are on standby with our race winner, Justin Barrera.
Yeah, I got Justin Barrera here. Congrats on the win. Hard-fought race, all race, and that was quite a competition between you and Josh Clog for the most of it.
Hopefully you guys are not coming through my mic. You guys hear me loud and clear?
Yep, we got you.
Yeah, it was. I didn't really want that to happen like 2 laps ago, but I was pushing and the tires were going away. I don't know if you noticed in the broadcast, but the rears were definitely like not having it anymore while I was trying to push. So of course I definitely didn't want to accidentally take my competition out. Never did want to do that. I just wanted to have a good hard fought battle.
Yeah, that's tough racing sometimes, and it kind of shakes out that way, but You
Yeah.
you were definitely fast all race. It looked like you may have even picked up a little tip following Josh Clark through that bus stop. Were you able to capitalize and learn from him through that bus stop?
It really wasn't that. I was purposely letting out. I just did not want to go through that bus stop flat out or near flat out because it's pretty much the decider of this race usually. Everything else is great. I just don't like that bus stop in this track. I prefer the newer one where it's a lot. It's an actual slows you down, but it's a dangerous thing, and if you don't take caution, you'll probably kill yourself for that bus stop.
Yeah, definitely high risk, high reward through there, as
Right.
are most sections on this track. So
Yeah, well, most of the rest I'm fine with. It's just mainly the bus stop, that particular setup. I've done endurance races on this setup. Well, not this specific track, but one of the other ones. A couple 4-hour endurance races here. So I know the track decently well.
well, that's good. That definitely seemed to help you out tonight. So anybody you'd like to thank?
Yeah, I'd like to thank the Shut Up and Drive It members, Brian Dollar Designs, or wait, is it Brian? I can't remember, but the designer of the paint job, pretty sure it's him. All the guys at Zane Pub and Motorsports, Slow Motion Broadcasting, the league, that was XSLR. I joined recently, so I don't know everything, and all my my folks, and I'll dedicate this race to my friend who's still in the hospital, unfortunately, from a crash, and he's still trying to recover from it. So, yeah.
Yeah, thoughts definitely with him, and hope he gets better. And yeah, congrats on the win, and
Appreciate it, guys.
catch you again next week.
Yeah, thanks again. Watch the broadcast, man.
Yep, that was Justin Barrera. And Alex, I believe you have Adam Thompson, our third place finisher now.
I sure do. And Adam, it looked like a pretty quiet race for you, just hanging out in P3. You had a little bit of a threat from Jake Luther towards the midpoint around the pit stops, but you were able to hold him off and take a P3 from the Charlotte Roval.
I honestly probably could have gotten up and taken a pee. That's how big of an island I was on. But yeah, no, it's the first one since, man, race 1 or 2. So I'll take it. And if you guys haven't listened to the Slow Motion podcast yet, you guys should. We actually have a little bit of an excerpt about driving within yourself. And that's kind of what I did. Just trying to keep it steady. I didn't have to push, tried to keep the car clean, and it all worked out. It really did. It worked out really well.
Yeah, and that is exactly what it looked like for you tonight, my friend. And how exactly did you get up into third place? If I'm not mistaken, I believe it was off the start, but how were you able to get up there in the first place, and how difficult was it to stay there?
Oh, Alex. There are a few incidents we got to look at the end of the race tonight.
Yeah,
I gained a lot of positions off the start.
I was gonna say you started like 8th.
Yes, not throwing any blame, not going to throw anything around yet, but gained a few positions from that, and then Tim Cox did Tim Cox things, and decided that I've noticed every time Tim had an issue, it was always when he was turning left. He's from, Britain land, so a lot of people from over there don't really know how to turn left that well. So yeah, a lot of the incidents and issues that Tim had was while turning left, and I passed Tim while he was trying to turn left back onto the speedway, locked it up and looped it, and almost took me out, which was very scary. But that was probably the most interesting part of my race.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what I'm looking for right now. I'm trying to find a British person that has won a NASCAR race. Just to try and prove you wrong. I found a Wikipedia article.
I don't think you're going to find anything, Alex.
Yeah, no, actually, no. I think you're right about that. Yeah, there's no British-born drivers that have won in a NASCAR race. So I think you're right about the British people not being able to turn left. as a bunch of other non-British-born drivers have found their way into victory lane in the NASCAR Cup Series. So,
by the way, shout out to all the British people. Please, if you listen to this, don't get mad at us. I'm just throwing a little bit of shade at my buddy. I love everybody, and especially Brits.
all right. Well, before we let you go, anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I would actually. Want to thank my wife, sitting over here on the couch watching Netflix. She's totally given up on me and my sim racing dreams. Won't even watch my. She won't even watch my broadcasts anymore. But no, she obviously huge supporter, allowing me to do this kind of stuff instead of trying to please her. And my dog Lewis over there sitting on the couch as well with his tongue hanging out. Everybody in the league for coming out every week. Had 10-car turnout, which I know doesn't seem like a lot, but guys, for this league it is. We've been struggling to try to get some people in there, so it's pretty cool to see 10 cars. And yeah, everybody that keeps showing up week after week. Slow Motion Broadcasting for putting it on. Thank you guys, Daniel, Alex, and Jonathan, for doing this, throwing it out for 25 viewers. I know it's probably not what you guys want to be doing on a Sunday night, but thank you guys so much for covering it. And yeah, I've got to give my Clog impression as well. Clog, told me to come in here and say a few words, so let me get into it real quick.
All right, let's hear it.
It was a good race. That's it.
All right, fair enough. I'm not going to comment on how accurate that may or may not be, but
I was about to say, is that Josh Clog or is that Jamie Heineman from Mythbusters?
They sound like the same person.
all right, well, I'm gonna let you go, Adam. Congrats on the P3 tonight. Hopefully, we'll see you back up here again from, I believe, the Monza Oval is where we head next. So that'll be a very interesting
Right turning.
race. Yeah,
Turning
it's
right.
the right turning oval. So Tim might be a little bit better at that track, if I'm honest. But
we did it. We procured it especially for Tim because we want to see him do well on an oval, and we figured if he turns right, he's got to have a chance, right?
Good man. I give you a round of applause for that one. You're a good man for that one, Adam. But have a good night, my friend. Congrats on the P3, and I'll see you later.
All right, thanks, guys.
That was Adam Thompson, your third place finisher tonight from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. And Daniel, what a race. It was pretty interesting throughout the first part, but unfortunate contact, 2 to go, left us with a runaway win from Justin Barrera.
Yeah, that was exciting. A little bit of a dust up on the start as well, but bookend some great racing in between, and we'll see if anything comes of that. I know there's a little system in this league to take care of some issues like that, but we'll see what happens if anything comes of it, and if anything lingers possibly going forward into the rest of the season.
All right, well, we'll see if we can perhaps find our upcoming broadcast. But so far, so Jonathan, I know you said they're up on the screen, but I'm not gonna lie to you, I do not have them. So I'll see. So Tuesday the 31st is going to be here. I'll just do them off the top of my head. Tuesday the 31st of January is going to be the return of the American Muscle Series, round 2 of their season, and that will be at the Donington GP circuit. Going to be an interesting race there. And then this Thursday, Beck 5 World Tour returns for the fourth race of their season from the Suzuka International Racing Course Grand Prix layout. Going to be an interesting race after their last race at the Monza combined circuit. So we'll see what happens there. And then next Sunday, we'll see you back up here, me, Daniel, and Jonathan from Monza once again, and it's going to be the right turning oval layout of that circuit for 30 laps from there. And that is going to be on February 5th, next Sunday. So join us for that. But for now, that's going to do it for us. My name is Alex Andersen. I've been joined in the commentary booth by Daniel Hall with Jonathan Grabowski in our virtual production truck, and from the virtual Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval. Have a good night.
So Patrick, do we, do we describe this for everybody, Rob?
What?
You
What?
describe it. You describe it. I
What?
do enough talking.
I think any car's dead in iRacing. I think it's gone.
Oh, it's definitely. I agree. It's not going to survive much, but like, I still think we'll find opportunities to race it, just not as fruitful as before. Some of them just want to like make. What's the thing? Like that guy wanted to make like dolls out of Tyler's hair, but then there's just other guys who are just like. He did. He would say weird things to Tyler, man. Like he was a strange guy, and then like other guys would just show up out of nowhere. He's like,
I
"Oh,
just need to-
we never met you? Sure, come race this 24 with us." And then you just jump in the car and wreck us out in a lap and be like, "Okay, never see you again."
Yeah, that
Like,
was
okay. Well, better luck next year, I guess.
the guy from